Hi, it's me. It's Trixie again. And today we're talking about the Ark of the Covenant. The 1828 Noah Webster's Dictionary states that the Ark was about 3 foot 9 inches in length, 45 inches. The lid was the mercy seat over which were the cherubs. And I think that the Ark of the Covenant is kind of fascinating. So let's jump right in. 1 Chronicles 28, I'm going to read 2 and 3, 6 and 7, 9 and 10. Then King David rose to his feet and said, "Hear me, my brethren and my people. I had it in my heart to build a house of rest for the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, and for the footstool of our God, and had made preparations to build it. But God said to me, You shall not build a house for my name, because you have been a man of war and have shed blood. Now he said to me, It is your son Solomon who shall build my house and my courts, for I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. Moreover, I will establish his kingdom forever, if he is steadfast to observe my commandments and my judgments, as it is this day. As for you, my son Solomon, know the God of your father, and serve him with a loyal heart and with a willing mind, for the Lord searches all hearts and understands all the intent of thoughts. If you seek him, he will be found by you, and if you forsake him, he will cast you off forever. Consider now, for the Lord has chosen you to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it." So David wanted to build a house for the Ark of the Covenant, for God to have a place. And God said no. He said that David was a man of war and that he shed blood and that he'd rather have Solomon do it. And so David urges his son to follow the God that he follows and to be strong and do it, to build it. It's a generational thing. I think it was really in David's heart, but I think that Solomon truly got it in his heart as well. 1 Kings 8 and 9. Nothing was in the ark except the 2 tablets of stone which Moses put there at Horeb. Then the Lord made a covenant, or when the Lord made a covenant with the children of Israel, when they came out of the land of Egypt. Those were the 10 Commandments. They are in the Ark of the Covenant. And so historically, that is very significant. Sorry about that. And I just think God had to have a special place to put those special things. And the Ark of the Covenant was it. Hebrews 9, 3 through 5. And behind the second veil, the part of the tabernacle which is called the holiest of all, which had the golden censer and the Ark of the Covenant overlaid on all sides with gold, in which were the golden pot that had the manna, Aaron's rod that budded, and the tablets of the covenant. And above it were the cherubim of glory, overshadowing the mercy seat. Of these things we cannot now speak in detail. So eventually more things got put into the Ark of the Covenant. The golden pot that had the manna, the food that God fed the Israelites with, Aaron's rod that budded, and the 10 Commandments. Spiritually, the ark was a manifestation of God's physical presence on earth, the Shekinah. When God spoke with Moses in the tent of meeting in the desert, he did so from between the 2 cherubs. Once the ark was moved into the Holy of Holies in the temple, or the tabernacle, and later in the temple, it was accessible only once a year, and then only by one person. On Yom Kippur, the high priest could enter the Holy of Holies to ask forgiveness for himself and for the nation of Israel. So at that time, the Ark of the Covenant was in the tabernacle, and it was in a most precious place, and it could only be accessed by one person one time a year. We are no longer under that. We can go to God ourselves anytime we want to, any day, any second of the day, and we can talk to him ourselves and bring our prayers and petitions to him. But back then it required one person one day a year. And so, and that person had to ask forgiveness for himself and for the nation of Israel. The next verse is Jeremiah 3:16. Then it shall come to pass, when you are multiplied and increased in land in those days, says the Lord, that they will say no more, the ark of the covenant of the Lord. It shall not come to mind, nor shall they remember it, nor shall they visit it, nor shall it be made any more. Folks, I believe we're kind of in that time now. We have increased in peoples. We have increased in knowledge. And the Ark of the Covenant is not discussed or talked about anymore. People don't remember it. People don't speak about it. And I think it's a shame. That was the place where God rested, and people spoke to him. And sure, there's people out there searching for the Ark of the Covenant, but by and large, most people don't even remember it or think about it or talk about it. Revelations 11:19a. Then the temple of God was opened in heaven, and the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of his covenant, was seen in his temple. So many people are searching for the Ark, but they're not going to find it because it's up in heaven with God, where it belongs. God has restored it back to himself, and none of us will see it until we get to heaven. And that will be a joyous time. But until then, those who are searching for it are searching in vain. So the nuggets of truth that we're going to glean out of this today are, David said, I had it in my heart to build a house of rest for the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord and for the footstool of our God, and had made preparations to build it. But God said to me, you shall not build a house for my name. It is your son Solomon who shall build my house and my courts, for I have chosen him. My son Solomon, consider now, for the Lord has chosen you to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it. Nothing in the ark except the 2 tablets of stone which Moses put there when the Lord made a covenant with the children of Israel. The Ark of the Covenant overlaid on all sides with gold, in which were the golden pot that had the manna, Aaron's rod that budded, and the tablets of the covenant. And above it were the cherubim of glory overshadowing the mercy seat. Spiritually, the ark was a manifestation of God's presence on earth. It was accessible only once a year, and then only by one person, the high priest. He could enter the Holy of Holies to ask forgiveness for himself and for the nation of Israel. When you are multiplied and increased in the land in those days, says the Lord, they will say no more, the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord. It shall not come to mind, nor shall they remember it. Then the temple of God was opened in heaven, and the Ark of his covenant was seen in his temple. It is with God in heaven. And I do have an artist's rendering of it, if you're interested. So there's the cherubim, and it's all overlaid in gold. And yeah, so We will see it when we get to heaven, but God has it now, and that's as it should be. So I just want to thank you for coming on this journey with me, for learning new things, for discovering the Bible in new ways. And if you like this video, I'd ask that you would give it a thumbs up, like it, hit that subscribe button, and hit the little bell icon so you can get more consistent teachings. And leave me a comment or a suggestion of a topic. That would be fun. And let us learn together. Until next time, be blessed.